What's up, my pretties? It's the Queen of Lions here. Now, with episode 179 of Shadows and Pretties, we have here right now. Today, I decided to do a horror movie because the last movie we did was Inside Out. So, we are going to be doing one of the best horror movies that Steven Spielberg has ever, made, directed, and John Williams, who composes amazing movie soundtrack. And today we're going to be looking at this 1975 film called Jaws. Now, Jaws is a pretty good movie that stars Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, and Richard Dreyfuss. So basically, this movie is based on the 1974 novel Jaws, which I will be going by Peter Benchley, which I'll be going through that one in a bit. So basically, this is about a man-eating great white shark attacks pretty much people in town in the summer resort town. A town that is basically, Amity Island. Now, however, though, the shot most likely was on location of Martha's Vineyard Island in Massachusetts. So, I guess with that being the case and with that being said, most of you guys, I'm gonna say right now, most of you guys have seen Jaws. I mean, I've seen Jaws as a kid and I never had any issues with it, especially while watching it. It's a really great movie. So, with that being the case, especially with people who love horror movies, I think we should go ahead and begin and explain what is Jaws about for those who haven't seen the movie in a long time and for those who want to know what the movie is about. So, I guess with that being said, let's begin. So, this takes place in New England in a beach town of Amity Island, where a young woman named Chrissy Watkins goes skinny dipping in the ocean. While treading the water, she gets attacked and pulled under the water by an unseen force, aka the great white shark. So, the next day, her parallel remains are found on shore, and medical examiners' conclusion that her death was due to a shark attack that leads to Police Chief Martin Brody to close to beaches. However, Mayor Larry Vaughn persuades them to reverse the decision, fearing that the town's summer economy could be ruined. So the corridor tentatively occurs when the mayor's fury that Chrissy was then killed by a boating accident when Brody reluctantly accepts that conclusion until the shark kills a young boy named Alex Kinter. In full view of the crowd beach, bounty placed on the shark, causing the amateur shark hunting frenzy. And the local professional shark fisherman, Quint, offers his service for $10,000. Meanwhile, consulting the ocean photographer Matt Hooper, examines Chrissy's remains and confirms her death was caused by a shark, an unusually large one. When the local fishermen catch a tiger shark, the mayor proclaims that the beach is safe, and Miss Kinter, who is Alex's mother, confronts Brody and blames him for his son's death. Hooper expresses his doubts that the tiger shark is responsible for the attacks, and his suspicions are confirmed when no human remains are found inside of the stomach after dissection. Hooper and Brody find a half-sunken vessel while searching the night in the waters for Hooper's boat. However, under the water, Hooper removes a sizable great white shark's tooth from the boat's hull, but drops it in the freight after discovering a partial corpse of a local fisherman, Ben Gartner. Vaughn dismisses Brody and Hooper's assertions, and a huge great white shark is responsible for the deaths and refuses to close the beaches, unfortunately. So, allowing the only increasing safety precautions on the 4th of July weekend, tourists pack the beach followed by a juvenile prank by a fake shark that the real shark enters a nearby lagoon, killing a boater and causing Brody's oldest son, Michael, to unfortunately go into shock. Brody then convinces the guilt-ridden Vaughn to hire Quint. Quint, Brody, and Hooper set out on Quint's boat, the Orca, to hunt and kill the shark, while meanwhile Brody lays down to churn the line. Quint waits for the opportunity to hook the shark, but without warning it appears behind the boat. Quint estimating its length at about 25 feet, eats 7.6 m, and weighs about 3 tons. So harpoons with the line attached to the flotation barrel, but the shark pulls the barrel underwater and unfortunately it disappears. However, in Nightfall, Quint and Hooper are drunkenly exchange stories about their assorted scars, while Quint reveals that he survived an attack at the USS Indianapolis. The shark then returns unexpectedly, ramming the boat hull and disabling the power. So the men return to work through the night, repairing the engine. In the morning, Brody attempts to call the Coast Guard, but Quint, who has become obsessed with killing the shark without outside assistance, smashes the radio. After a long chase, Quint harpoons the shark with another barrel, and that line is tied to the stem of the cleats. But the shark drags the boat backwards, swamping back on the deck and flooding the engine compartment. Quinton appears to be sever the line and prevent the transom from being pulled out of the client's break off. Keeping the barrels attached to the shark, Quint then heads over to shore to draw the shark into the shallow waters, but where he overtaxes the damaged engine and it fails. As the Orca slowly sinks, the trio attempts to a riskier approach, while Hooper enters the water in a shark-proof cage, intending to lethally inject the shark with serigine or something, using a hippophomic spear, but the shark attacks the cage, causing Hooper to drop the spear, which it sinks and it's lost. While the shark then thrashes in the tangled remains of the cage, Hooper manages to escape to the seabed. So the shark then breaks free and leaps onto the boat, devouring Quint. But however, trapped on the sinking vessel, Brody shoves a pressurized scuba tank into the shark's mouth, climbs to the crow's nest, and he is able to shoot the tank with Quint's rifle. However, the shark gets killed when the rifle bullet hits the pressurized scuba tank, resulting in the explosion, which Hooper resurfaces and paddles back to Emmetsy Island with Brody, clean onto the remaining barrels, and that's how the movie ends. Now, I have to say this is actually a pretty good movie, especially with the fact that producers at Universal Pictures independently heard about Peter Blenchley's novel Jaws, so Brown came across the literature section of the lifestyle magazine, so they got into more stuff. But of course, this is when pretty much the production for Jaws came around, was, when the book came out. And of course, Spielberg had been signed to direct the film in, in June of 1973 before the release of the Sugarland Express. So, with that being said, the set of it and all, and even the writing and casting, they did a pretty good job with the casting and did a pretty good job with the whole concept of its own self. However, they do have really good actors for, the good character development. I like the fact Roy Scheider's in this movie. He plays as Chief Martin Brody. Robert Shaw, who is another great actor, played Quint. Richard Dreyfuss, who plays as Matt Hooper. And, I mean, we got a lot of great actors and pretty good concept for the whole story of, the whole, thing. So, basically, the filming principal photography started around May 2nd of 1974 at the island of Martha's Vineyard, which is in Massachusetts. So, with that being said, the film did a lot of, overhaul with, the shark. So the great white shark, they had to use like animatronic mechanical sharks. At least they had at least done a couple mechanical sharks. So like they didn't use a real shark. They used mechanical ones, which I thought that was pretty neat that they used the mechanical sharks for it. So I guess with that being the case, it actually has a pretty good, concept for the movie. Like, I mean, that it's based on the book, it's honestly pretty amazing that it's based on the book. Like, we got, the Jaws theme, which is fantastic. Most people will know, that dun 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 kind of like thing when it came to, well, Jaws. I honestly really have to say, I recommend you watch Jaws if you haven't. However, there used to be a Jaws ride somewhere in Universal Studios Florida, But unfortunately, due to the fact that, what was it? But due to the fact that, well, I guess 2012, they got rid of the ride, which kind of sucks. It unfortunately closed in January of 2012. And eventually, one in Universal Studios Japan, there was also an animatronic version of the scene, but I don't know if it's still there or not. But yet again, I'm not really sure. So, despite that, there is like at least sequels for well, this movie, such as since Jaws 2, I mean, Jaws 2, that's the sequel to Jaws that came out in 1978, a few years after. But we also have Jaws 3 that came out in 1983, and Jaws The Revenge came out in 87. Now, I don't really care for Jaws Revenge that much, or 3D. The first two were pretty good, so I definitely have to say it actually provides pretty good, it's pretty good, to be honest. So I guess with that being said, I'm gonna go with, some of the differences in the book. Now, however, though, here's the thing that is pretty different. However, in the book, Quint still does die, but he does have a different death than the one that happened in the film. In the book, Quint's ankle gets caught up in a rope and attached to the harpoon, where he's attached to the dead great white shark, although Quint gets pulled deep into the water, leaving Brody completely all alone and possibly drowns or dies. So that's basically in the book. But however, they changed it to the movie. So that's actually one of the biggest differences in the movie. So eventually, with that being in the case, this honestly actually has a pretty good concept for the book. However though in the novel of Jaws, the shark kills Hooper by destroying the cage. However, that does not happen in the movie, which, I mean, Jaws is not based on the true story, but it is based on, Peter Benchley's novel by the same name. So, with that being the case, I actually really do think that, it actually has a pretty good concept for what the movie is. Like, I really do find this movie to be really good. Now, I've not read the book yet, so I can't really, state too much things or something, because, I haven't seen the movie in a long time. But I definitely have to say the book was actually pretty good for what it is. But from what I've heard personally, I've never read it, so I can't really say too much. So, like I'm gonna say, yeah, you guys can feel free to state your own thoughts and opinions on, the book. If you like the book better than the movie, you can state your own thoughts and opinions on that. But if you like the movie better than the book, feel free to state your thoughts and opinions on this movie. Now, I am considering in doing a review on Jaws 2 and possibly the third and fourth movie, but as of now, I am not really sure when that will be, because, to be completely honest, I'm not going to really guarantee when I will do another Jaws review. But I thought, you know what, I'll go ahead and review the first movie, because, I have not done that one on my channel yet, surprisingly. I've never done any of the Jaws movies, so I thought, you know what, today is a good day for me to go ahead and, review this movie. So, like I'm going to say, this is just my own opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's perfectly fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions. And like I'm going to say, yeah, feel free to state your own thoughts and opinions on this, this movie that is Jaws, and especially with the, yeah. So with that being the case, like I'm going to say right now, this is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that is perfectly fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these movies and books. So, if you got, surprisingly, I know I'm getting off topic, but surprisingly though, when people watch Jaws, they would stay away from lakes and that, because when they hear, the Jaws theme song, they have a feeling that there's going to be a shark around. I mean, That has honestly been something that has been, on a lot of people's minds when they watch Jaws. So, with that being said, what did you guys think? Did you enjoy the movie? Did you enjoy the book? You enjoy them both? Did you not? Also, what we have done person help make the movie and book a lot better. Feel free to state your own thoughts and opinions in the comments below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're new to my channel, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications when I upload. And as always, I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Peace out.